Hey everyone, good morning. We are live for our Wednesday wake up with the Teach Better team, where we have the opportunity to come live here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn and kind of kick off your Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's 6 a.m. Central, in case you forgot how time works. And we are drinking coffee and getting ready for the day. Katie Miglin is in the house with me, and we are excited to go through a teachable moment, a community spotlight. We have a morning challenge for you. If you're catching this after the fact, we so appreciate you subscribing and listening to Teach Better Talk podcast. Obviously, we also love when you're joining us live, even if it's like up on your phone and you keep walking in and out of the room because you're hustling and bustling in the morning, getting kids ready or yourself ready for school. We're also totally fine if you throw us up on your television. Just ignore our pores as you are getting ready for your day. We will be right back as we get into this conversation. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. It's Wednesday Wake Up Friends. We are drinking coffee. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Katie Miglin.
Hey, Ray Hughart. I don't know why. I thought you were going to end that sentence differently. Like, we're drinking, and I didn't know what you were going to put in, but coffee is the truth. So,
yeah, I am legitimately drinking coffee. I don't know.
Me too.
I don't know what you're drinking over there.
I am drinking coffee because it is 6 a.m. where Ray and I are at. And yeah, it's early. It's pretty early. So, coffee it is for sure. Good morning, Ray Hughart. How are you?
Oh, just so good. Aaron's in the comments. I love when we go live and we get to see our friends kind of popping in and saying good morning. As you are getting your brain ready, our hope is that you are listening to us on a Wednesday morning, getting ready for persevering through the week. I think telling us what's in your coffee cup is a great way to kick off your morning, kind of getting the juices flowing. Good morning. See, this is so good. Anytime.
Good morning, Katie Bullhaber.
I know, it's so good. So good. Mm-hmm. I know that we've probably talked about this 100 times, but I don't know if you know this, but it's bright and early Wednesday morning. So, silly question. How do you take your coffee? Like when you have coffee in your coffee mug right this moment, what
I like how you're pointing to it. Like it's right here. In case you don't know where your coffee cup is, Katie, it's right there.
It's literally right in front of you, but it was out of screen. So I was like, pick it back up, come back.
Typically like mostly black. I do a splash of cream. Okay. So I used to like be all about the sweets, so it was like the caramel macchiatos, the caramel lattes, all that, but I just cannot do it anymore. I'll do it if I'm like getting a coffee in the middle of the afternoon and it's more like a desserty kind of thing. Yeah. But if it's like to start my day, it's mostly like black coffee or like a plain latte. And then if it's just coffee, it's just a splash of cream of some sorts. Like I have like half and half at home, but I would do milk. But you're not a coffee person. You're an espresso person.
I am, and I won't lie. I know there's a difference. I don't know that there's a difference. I know there's a difference. Whatever this is tastes good. And if you could make this taste occur in a coffee, I'd be good with drinking that too. Like, isn't there a caffeine difference as well in an espresso versus a coffee?
I am pretty sure. Now, if any of our coffee connoisseurs are in the comments, let us know. But I'm pretty sure espresso does have more caffeine.
Which is why you drink less of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
And it's stronger. So if you I had to look up some of this because I got a new coffee maker and it had like a latte version, like a button, and then I had like coffee. You get finer grounds and they're dark roast for espresso. Okay. So, but I don't know like specifically because you have an espresso, right?
I do, and I love it. And if anyone needs a review or recommendation, I could totally be like the face of Nespresso if they ever wanted to like fire George Clooney and hire me. But like, yeah, because if I had a full cup of what comes out of my coffee maker, I'd be on the floor having a heart attack because it's so intense. Like I can't have two of these.
So do you think is it straight espresso or is there something else in it?
No, this is straight espresso. So
Oh.
that's what I was gonna say. So I drink it black, which I'm not sure if that's strange, but I like it. I like just like the black espresso. But if I ever go out like to Starbucks, I'm gonna go to Sparrow later today, the local coffee shop where I live. Like
Mhm.
then I put all this stuff in it, like
Yeah, because
everything.
you're traditionally a vanilla latte person.
I That's my go-to. That's what I will get as a pick
Mhm.
me up. Like halfway through my day, I'll go get a vanilla latte.
Okay, and
Yeah.
before everyone thinks I'm a huge stalker, I have traveled with Ray. I've also worked with Ray. I've picked up her coffee several times, and so she is the easiest person to order coffee from because it's a vanilla latte every time. So, Ray, thank you for being
But
simple.
doesn't everybody have like one fancy order drink? Like, I know this could apply to cocktails. Let's keep it to coffee. Everybody, in my opinion, that I've come across has like an easy order that you give somebody when they're going and getting you coffee, and then like a fancy order that if you have a gift card or whatever, you like put everything out there. Like you do, I
Yeah.
know because I've seen you with fancy coffee.
Okay, I do. I have an order I will give to someone else. So if you like said, "Hey, I'm picking up coffees," I have a go-to that I always give. Yep, the same thing exactly as this person. It's a flat white. So
Wait, so oh my gosh, I don't know why we're talking about this. It's gonna get so confusing. What's the difference between a flat white and a vanilla latte, or and a latte? Because a vanilla latte obviously has vanilla. I think a flat white is super similar to a latte. Just I think that's like the healthier version.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I only know because I look at the Starbucks, app where you can like customize. The shots look different. They're like called like there's like some like description in front of the way that they roast the shot. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I only like it better because I feel like it's stronger.
Oh,
See, and
so
I don't even do the whole milk. I do non-fat. So
okay, but
I
a
feel like
flat
I
white,
don't
this comment here says a flat white has whole milk and espresso, but a latte has
right.
milk and espresso. So I don't feel like this fully answers the full question. Oh, and it's Elijah. Hi, Elijah. Good morning. Also,
Mm.
Elijah, I love stalking you on your Facebook posts. If anyone needs like a good pick me up and wants like a good follow on Facebook specifically, but all social media, Elijah has like the perfect mix of cool school posts and like adorable family posts because like I love his
Ooh.
life. So just shout out there. If you need a good follow, go connect with Elijah. Even if you don't know him, just go follow him.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm looking this up.
back to
It's called
coffee.
okay, I don't know how to say this, but it's res ristretto.
Yeah,
Is
ristretto espresso is what I'm drinking.
Okay, so that is what the difference is. In a latte, when I look at like the Starbucks app, it says ristretto for the flat white, but then it's just normal espresso for latte. So it's got to be some way that they
It
like,
is that is the type of like coffee bean that make or
yeah.
like the type of it's made. That makes sense. But then
So,
did you know if you order a misto breve, that is milk and coffee made like a latte versus like how they can put I know, right? But just so you know, nobody knows where the button is in Starbucks if you order a misto breve. So I recommend not doing it because it takes like 45 minutes to find your order. Okay, wait. My follow up is I want to know everybody's most complicated, and we'll just go with Starbucks because it's like so traditional, but Starbucks order. Like, what's the order? If you have a gift card, I'm handing you a $50 Starbucks gift card.
ooh.
What are you ordering? I don't want your food. I just want what's your drink order that you can put as many things in it as you want. Katie, this is your test. Go for it. Well, I want to hear it in the comments too, but for you,
Okay.
let's hear it.
So if you handed me a gift card, or if I have my free one from like
Yes.
my points,
Yes.
I would almost always get at least 4 shots. If I was in the classroom, there were days that I got 5 because we had like parent teacher conferences. I know now in hindsight,
Wait, did you just say parent teacher conferences? Do not say that this early in the morning in September. We have at least a few more weeks before that becomes on our to-do list. Shame on you.
I'm
Shame
sorry,
on you.
just
Stop it.
prepping their coffee order for people who have to do that.
No,
Anyway,
just order.
I'd for sure do multiple shots,
Just
whatever that number is.
what's the order?
It depends on if it's like a time of year. Like if there's like a new one, I'll always try a new one because then it's like low risk.
Okay, today, and there's no specialty except if you want like a pumpkin something.
Probably a flat white with multiple shots.
This is so anticlimactic. I wanted like a venti iced blah blah blah, like
Oh,
something.
okay. So yeah, I always get venti. I always get like non-fat. And then usually if I have like a gift card or some free points, it's always I just up the number of shots.
Okay, I just want to be clear. You are fired after this show. This is the worst segment of all time.
Okay,
You are
what's
sent home.
yours?
Okay, so here's mine, and I feel like this is like persnickety enough to make fun of because it's really obnoxious. So I would do, I don't know how to say it without saying grande, so let's assume venti, but iced grande. Wait, hold on. Grande iced caramel vanilla latte. No, grande iced caramel vanilla latte upside down with an extra shot. Okay, so because if you order, no, not a vanilla latte. What's a caramel macchiato? That's what I want. Okay, see, this is you need to be in the drive-through ordering it.
Okay, we just went from like 800 words to describe it to nope, just a caramel macchiato.
No,
What's happening?
Okay, a venti iced caramel macchiato upside down with an extra shot is a fancy order.
Can I ask a question? Like, is it like DQ where they serve it upside down to test it?
Okay, so macchiato, for those of you who order macchiatos, comes separated, where like the
Yes.
espresso's on the top and the milk's on the bottom. If
It's
you
very
order it
pretty.
upside down, the espresso's on the bottom, so it mixes. You don't have to shake it.
So do you pay extra for them to just flip the order?
No, you just
That's
order.
not part of the fanciness. It's just what all the
But
other
it
things
is
are.
fancy because you're like altering the order.
Okay. All right.
All right. This has been the best show of all time. Just
I mean, honestly, I feel like people have, I don't know that we gave them any ideas, honestly, to go get coffee. I recommend the flat white if you're a basic person. Ray, she likes more of the sugary caramel
I do.
macchiato stuff. So there you go. Thank you. Flat white.
This is fair. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the flat whites. I get older, my body doesn't like super sweet sugary coffee. I get that. Hey guys, spoiler alert, I'm going vanilla latte later today. I hate to say it. It's just happening.
So today's not a fancy day in Ray Hughарт's world.
Well, I am gonna go pay for coffee somewhere outside of my home. That feels fancy.
That is fancy. Cheers to that.
Yes. Cheers, everyone. Good morning. We love getting all fancy with you in the morning. Oh, this is what I wanted.
Yes.
Thank you. This comment right here, a grande iced pumpkin spice latte, non-fat milk, easy on the whip. Amen. I don't know what this tastes like, but it can't be bad. Cannot be bad.
Okay, can I ask a final question before we maybe provide something educational and beneficial to people?
I mean, I just want to be clear. I had a challenge for our community, so I'm about to provide a lot of value, but go ahead. Yep.
Okay. What are your thoughts on pumpkin spice?
Are we gonna get into a pumpkin? This is like toxic. What if we like hurt someone's feelings? People have very strong feelings on pumpkin.
That's okay. They can. It was just a simple, what are your thoughts?
I feel like our viewers are going to be cut in half after we have this conversation. It's either going to go one way or the other.
Okay, so would you ever order it? Not your normal. I know some people are like every day from like end of August to like mid-November, they're getting their PSL on. That's fine. Go you. But Ray Hughart, has there ever been a time that you've thought, I'm going to get a pumpkin spice latte?
I am not a pumpkin person.
Oh, that's right. I forgot this.
Yeah,
So like no pumpkin in any, not just in coffee.
I think on Thanksgiving, if somebody hands me a slice of pumpkin pie, I want it half a slice and I will enjoy it. That little pick me up. I love when I walk into like my friends' beautiful homes and they have a pumpkin scented candle. Yum. But I'm not a pumpkin person. Like I don't.
So you're not like getting giddy. You don't have alarms on your phone about pumpkin things.
No, wait, but you know what I do like that seasonal that is terrible for you. So I'm not actually condoning it. Like a shamrock shake. Yum.
Oh,
But pumpkin, those like certain seasonal flavors. I wish that I liked it because I see how much joy it brings so many people, but I'm just not a pumpkin person. Are you?
I don't like pumpkin spice. I like pumpkin. So like bring on the pumpkin breads, pumpkin bars, pumpkin flavored, but I don't like pumpkin spice. So I honestly don't know that I've ever had a pumpkin spice latte. Maybe in October when we're together at the conference, that might be something that I dabble in, but I'm nervous it's too spicy. Like it's too much of that like nutmeg.
Oh, I like that. I don't know. Maybe
Mm-mm.
we should do like a conference coffee run and just like all get something we've never gotten before because that sounds like a great thing to do bright and early in the morning before a big day.
Oh my gosh. I just wanted to be clear, we will also have plain black coffee on standby if anyone orders poorly.
Oh, I will say, like any of those coffees with sweeteners in it that like, a Keurig or like Nespresso where you
Yeah.
like put the pod in that has a flavor, that is the death of me. I can't be pro that. That's not my thing.
Okay, so that's funny because I like plain black coffee, but I don't mind some flavored coffees. Like not the ones that are like the cream based, where then it comes out a different color. But like the coffee I have now, I think has like some hints of like caramel in it.
Yeah, I know Jeff loves that too. Here's the deal. I have an entire bucket of like free Nespresso pods they send you that are flavored. If anyone needs to stop by my house, I'll make them a coffee in the morning with all of these pods because I don't know what to do with them because I'm sure they're wonderful coffees. I just can't drink them. So if anyone needs flavored Nespresso pods, I got you.
Okay, so there we go. We've got it in the comments. Someone is adamant we have to have like one pumpkin spice latte in our life. So conference it is. Let's do it. That's mid-October. That's perfect. That's like pumpkin season.
Yeah. We'll need a
Okay.
little pick me up. That's one thing that I vividly remember. You know how when you're in this like really exciting experience and like in some regard you like black out because you're like such on a high in excitement of whatever is going on. That's how Teach Better 2019 was. Like there are so many moments that I just like totally don't remember. But one thing I vividly, like it was yesterday, remember was I was standing in the hallway at the Teach Better conference in 2019, and Jackie, one of our ambassadors, who wasn't an ambassador at the time because that program didn't even exist, walked up to me with a vanilla latte and was like, in the middle of the day, was like, I got this for you. I wanted, like for a little pick me up. And I was like, I think you're my favorite person on the planet. So we all just
That's
need like
awesome.
maybe it's not the morning coffee, but it's like a halfway through conference. We'll all do flavored something.
Oh, absolutely. I already like as I was putting together the schedules for individual people, I already was thinking like who are the people that are going to run out midday and grab us coffees because
Right.
I think we're going to need it.
We
Dave
will.
Schmittou, yes, we know that from a lot of people on our Teach Better team. We learned that from the retreat when we were all together is that we have a lot of coffee drinkers on the Teach Better team and the stronger the better. So Dave,
True.
I get it.
Just for everybody listening on our podcast after the fact, when Katie doesn't read the comments to you, I've tried to get her to do it. So I'm sorry you're missing the fun content on the screen. I tried to coach her, podcast listeners. I've given her feedback. She's hopeless. So I'm sorry if she shares a comment on screen that you're not privy to because she won't read it to you. I apologize.
I'm sorry. Dave Schmittou said he likes his coffee strong. Maybe, here's a way that we can solve that. Everyone should just start watching live. There we go.
Thanks. I do. Oh my gosh, someone just brought up apple crisp. I feel like we're going into a whole different new thing now. I do love apple stuff, not apple coffee, but what's the apple drink that everyone drinks over Christmas?
Cider?
Oh, yum. Mm.
Okay. All right. I've never had the apple crisp Starbucks, as someone mentioned in the comments. I did it, you guys. I did it. But I also would be open to trying that. So at the conference, there's 2 days. I could do pumpkin one day, apple the other. I am a big fan of celebrating all things apple in September and then transitioning to all things pumpkin in October. I don't like to forget about the apples of the world. So
yeah, I don't dislike that rule, but I think I would celebrate apple more often than pumpkin just because I want it. Can you do apple in September, October pumpkin, and then go back to apple November, December?
Well, I think November, it's like anything's fair game at that point. So like bring on the apple pie, bring on the pumpkin pie, bring on all the pies.
I knew someone was going to bring this up. The teas now. Okay, this is a problem. We could get into teas too, but I love a good like black tea, Earl Grey, earthy tea. Like I like it strong. So some of the teas that are more like potpourri, I'll save that for somebody else.
Oh, Dave Schmidt just said, just compared the morning wake up to brain break. Ray, veto the conversation. Veto. We got to get back. Teachable moments. Let's go. Come on.
We're going into teachable moments, but I do want to give a shout out Dave Schmitto in the comments, especially because Dave Schmitto is in the midst of a hurricane. So please, as a PSA, go reach out to our Teach Better family members. There's a ton of them in Florida or along the coast. We're not only sending you some good, loving, green heart vibes, but also if you have some time today and you want to kind of do something that's going to boost somebody else up as well as boosting yourself up, send somebody a message wishing them safety and wanting to make sure that them and their families are in a good spot. We'll be right we are back for our Wednesday wake up. Yes, we have talked about coffee for 20 minutes, but no, we are going to provide some sort of value. That way, this isn't our old school brain break that we used to have with Jeff Gargis and Dave Schmitto doing shenanigans essentially for an hour at the end of the day. I think we should bring back like brain break one time every so often, just so people can compare the shows that we have for the Teach Better team, but not today. We are sticking to Wednesday wake up. We are getting you ready for a successful week, and we're heading into Teachable Moments, which is a second segment that we always love to provide on Wednesday mornings. Katie, we had a big debate on our theme for Teachable Moments because when we provide teachable moments during the show, we want to make sure that it's something that is actionable, that is also like a good topic to process right now in the time of year that it is. And for us, like, spoiler alert, a lot of educators are overwhelmed. So talking about these like big, massive ideas are kind of unrealistic right now or unnecessary on a Wednesday morning. So while we do have a lot of things that you could be thinking of in September, I think we should do like your recommendation, Katie, a really small kind of like bite-sized idea that then we can take some action with this week, kind of ground ourselves in the good practices we know are best for students.
So Ray and I kind of were leaning towards student engagement because we know that this time of year maybe is that starts to kind of go down. Students are comfortable. Maybe, the weather is changing in a lot of parts of, the world. And so it's a tough transition because you're kind of like, you're probably into your content. You've gotten to know your students. Some people are about a fourth of the way through their school year. So when Ray and I were kind of talking, student engagement is so big. It's such a big topic. Mm-hmm. And so we really kind of wanted to focus on the first 5 to 10 minutes of your class, because sometimes it's super easy to get wrapped up in the idea of like, what's my lesson going to be? What are the activities they're going to do? And those first 5 minutes, I know I always would forget to like really intentionally plan for, because you kind of just get going, right? You're like, students walk in, I take attendance. We then immediately go into the lesson. And then it was like, oh, shoot, we've forgotten to do these things, or they're not even engaged. And here I am already talking about the lesson. So Ray, I know like you and I had kind of similar setups as far as like what we did, but do you want to share kind of what you did in those like first, let's say 5 minutes? Because we had 45-minute classes. So obviously if you have a bigger class, you would do maybe a little bit longer, but like, what did you kind of focus on those first 5 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's important to just say right off the bat in this conversation that every single educator should personalize their first 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
So I feel like I have recommendations. I know that Katie and I and Dave and Chad and Josh, all the members of the Teach Better team, Andrea, Megan, everybody that's out and supporting the school districts that we get to work with, the first 5 minutes is something that we have the opportunity to coach on quite frequently, because I think the first 5 minutes set the tone of your classroom. And so doing some reflection, maybe this morning, or maybe as you're kind of driving to work later today, that you're thinking through, what is the tone I want to set in my classroom? That should be like the overarching theme of those first 5 minutes, that to me is how you're going to really personalize it,
Yep.
is what your preference in the tone of that first 5 minutes. For me personally, Katie, I think you and I had similar tones we wanted to set, which is why our first 5 minutes looked super similar.
Yes.
For me, the first 5 minutes always focused on students entering my classroom, getting prepped to be successful for the day. And then I really wanted to emphasize coming together as a whole group before we went on our individual learning journeys. And I say individual, not meaning on your own, but individual, like every single student in that room was hopefully getting a personalized support in their work.
Yes.
And while a lot of that included group work and collaboration, they themselves were going to be on a learning journey. And I wanted to kind of like bring everyone together first and all get on the same page before we kind of dispersed in our own exploration. So let's talk about like what that looks like. But I know you and I both, as students walked in, had like a few key things. First was I love blasting music. I love the music, the jam, usually something really upbeat, sometimes something not, but I feel like the music really helped set the tone of the day. I know that you use that a lot in your classroom.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was, it'd almost feel weird if I had forgotten to turn it on for like the next class or something. But there was always loud music. I know we've talked before, but like students helped with that. They figured out which songs they wanted to play, and that's what we would play.
Well, and something that I know you've discussed a lot is you have students help support you make your playlist.
Yep.
I love that. I know we've talked about that on the show before.
Yep.
Something I want to challenge our community here as you're thinking about music is music's going to allow you to set the tone for the energy level in your classroom. So bright and early in the morning, I wanted like pump up, excitement. Those are great energies to bring in. But like after lunch, sometimes my music was way more dimmed down. Like classical or jazzy music. Bring in a good saxophone anytime to my classroom. I'm thrilled.
Right.
Like that is to me maybe not even in like necessarily the first 5 minutes. It's just like literally the first few seconds is like that energy level you have the opportunity as a teacher to control. Could be a good reflection for today.
Absolutely. So music
one. The other thing I knew we both had, and we do this totally different, so I think it's good for us to talk about it, is there was something displayed in some way, shape, or form. We had smart boards, if you have Promethean boards or projectors or something written on the board, something displayed that you expected the students to walk in and consume. So what was on yours? Because yours was very different than mine.
Right. So it sounds like Andrea's dropping some comments in about hers, and mine is similar. So Andrea says like kind of a brain teaser, a goal, and then like a holiday. So mine was similar in that I had, what do you need out? So like, what does your space need to have on it? And so, it would be like a laptop, maybe a packet, a pencil. I would often have kind of the goal for the day, or like what we were going to work on. So kind of just a preview of what that class period was going to look like. Then their goal was what we were working towards. So in the grade method, that's what I would say, 2A is what the goal is. And then we would spend time talking about that. And then I would have something kind of silly. So it was honestly kind of a post-COVID decision. It was like when we were all remote and, we're all like desperate for engagement while students are home. That's when I transitioned to it. So my bell ringer oftentimes was something silly. So it was like 6 boxes of cereal, and it would say you can only keep one, or you can only get rid of one, or it was maybe like some sort of picture. It was like find the mistake, or it was just kind of something silly. Really, my goal was I wanted every student to walk in and feel like they could answer, if nothing else, they could answer one question that class period. And so that was kind of what started the day. Sometimes I would have like, hey, don't forget, you should have finished this yesterday, or like reminders, like don't forget to turn in your permission slip. And so that was like, I kind of always had those 3 categories. And then along the bottom was pictures of the supplies they needed. And I was consistent with that. We had that every single day, all year long. And so I just kind of stuck with that. And so they knew exactly what to expect when they walked in.
I love this simply because of the routine. Like in my mind, having any sort of information that you're displaying to students is great, but it needs to be consistent. I love that you had 3 or 4 specific sections they knew what to expect in those sections, because that allows them to walk in from whatever chaos was going on in their last classroom, whatever chaos is going on in the hallway. They're walking in and they're not only consuming information right away, but they're able to like focus in and know what to expect as their eyes adjust to what information you want them to focus on, because each box sets up that routine. So I think routines are massive in the first 5 minutes, especially as your music sets your energy level. Those like that bell ringer, that beginning, those boxes are going to set the transition, essentially, is what I think is the most challenging at the beginning of the class hour, is supporting all students in that transition in whatever shape and form that looks like.
Well, and two, I know you and I did this often. Like I felt like our classrooms were close enough that we could hear each other, but we would often stand in the hall and say, "Don't forget to look at the board. Don't forget to look at the board." Because it's so easy, and I know made this mistake many times. It's so easy to put something up and then like just assume they're going to look at it.
Right.
And you do have students that do, some curious minds are like, "What's this?" But unless you're like directly saying what's important on that board, it's not gonna be as effective. And so that's super tricky too, because it's like you really have to remind yourself to talk about the thing that's on the board that's important.
Well, and the truth is like, even when you're consistent, you have to remember that a lot of our students are entering into multiple classroom and multiple learning environments throughout the day. Whether at the elementary setting or middle school or high school, there is transitions to other rooms. And something I have really never fully understood or paid attention to until recently, when I get to be in a lot of different classrooms, is how busy classrooms can be.
Yeah.
And so as a teacher, we kind of live in our space more traditionally, at least a teacher that has like one assigned classroom. So we know that like the wall over there has exciting stuff, but it's really not important for the first 5 minutes. And the notebook over here, like there's a lot going on that we know to zone out. Our students don't necessarily always have those cues. So the routines of you look straight ahead at this section when you walk in, give them that ability to then focus, so then they can get distracted by other stuff at a different point in time in their learning day.
But too, like if a student said, "What do we need out?" or "Do we need this today?" or "What are we doing today?" I wouldn't say anything other than "It's on the board." So then they knew that is also the source of their information, that they can get the stuff they need. They don't necessarily have to come to me. And honestly, the fun, silly things, I know we've got a lot of comments of like things that people do to kind of start that like positive classroom culture. But that also was something that kids looked forward to. They looked forward to like there would be some big debates that would happen. And I'd hear it in the hallway of like, "This is what the math bell ringer is. What are you going to vote for?" It's like, oh my gosh, who knew that like bagel flavors was such a big deal? Or, I don't know.
I love it. I think that's always such a fun way to get students excited to come into the room. And again, I really truly know that by getting some routines and predictability, then those moments that are different, like that question, become more exciting because they know exactly what to focus on.
Yeah.
My room looked a little bit different. I think for, again, teaching preferences, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way to do this, but as you're reflecting on your own practices this morning or whenever you're catching the show later, I think it's important to think about how much you want to keep up with for you personally as a teacher.
Right.
Because Katie, something I love about your morning question, there's morning jokes in the comments that people are messaging about, meant that every day I needed to think of one. And full transparency, that stresses me out like no other. And I know that it's going to be something I drop the ball on. And I don't know that I would be successful keeping up with that unless I had somebody supporting me. Like if I had a student teacher that came up with that every morning, sign me up, or little things like that. So personally for me, I did way less, which I don't necessarily support. My like display was truly just a picture of what their desk needed to look like. And that was it. So rather than listing out bullet points, which I know a lot of educators get in the practice of, is like, you need your notebook, your laptop, and a pencil out. I literally like grabbed clip art that looked like the computer. I even sometimes would like clip art in the like website, a picture of the website that they needed up on their laptop because you could see the screen. So maybe it was IXL or our homepage for our classroom. I would like Photoshop like a piece of paper and a pencil on it. Like it literally looked like a visual of their desk. And then at the top, it just said, I will know you're ready when ... And that was the picture. So that allowed us to transition purely just to get our space ready. And then once their space was ready, any transition time that existed that was left before I started class was their time to get organized, be social, or whatever else they needed to do. So I think it's teaching preferences of what you can handle.
And honestly, Ray, I think that the simplicity is also great. There's a really kind of positive sides to both of it. While I loved the kind of the goofy things I included, I think some students probably would have preferred to just have like the very basics. I would say the two big things though that I heard both of us say is as many images as possible, as much clip art as you can. We know that students necessarily don't read everything. That's how I started my career. I literally have bell ringers from like my early days, and I'm like horrified that I put so much text on the board. But it's like that is a common thing because you're thinking in adult mode, right? Like they need this, this, and this. I'm going to type it out. They won't read it. So how can you make it visually friendly? How can you make it accessible for all your students? And then, like you said, what tone do you want to set? Do you want the music? Andrea said in the comments that she liked to have calmer music at the beginning of the hour and then more upbeat music at the end of the hour to kind of transition them. That's her preference. That's awesome. That's what, you have to decide what you want. We've got people who have said like calm music in the morning and, more of like kind of what the different activities are. So whatever you decide, I would say though, consistency, stick to the routine. Everyone knew, every student that walked into Ray's room, they knew exactly what they were going to see on the board. When they walked into my room, they knew. We both worked next door to a teacher who every day had a political cartoon because he was social studies. And so the students knew to expect that. And so I think there's really no right or wrong way to do it as long as you're consistent and you provide the images, making it accessible for all students.
Well, and a lot of what we've discussed with this is like utilizing students' five senses, right? You're walking in, and if a student is going to be engaged in their five senses, or maybe only three, like thinking through all of those sensories, right? Not only the music volume, the music energy, the visual. I mean, we say it all the time. I steal it from people who say it, and I don't remember to quote them, but clear is kind, right? The more clear and consistent you can be for students, the better. And the comical part of this entire conversation is that's not the first 5 minutes of class. That's like the first few millisecond moments of class, because typically you're getting all this prep during whatever transition time you have, the like 3 minutes students have to move between classes, or if you're in an elementary setting, they're just like coming back from music and this is what your classroom's prepped like. But typically then you have the 5 minutes to utilize. So Edie, I know we're pretty typical in this. I love starting my class kind of all together versus them going straight into work time. So I call it teacher time. It used to be like a mini lesson, but even then I felt then required to present new content. And that's not what my first 5 minutes of. My first 5 minutes of class is whatever I, as the professional in the room, think my students need, which could be joking around and socializing for 5 minutes and hearing about their weekend. It could be going over a common question I keep hearing that I want to make sure we address as a full class. It might be presenting new content. It might be, I don't know, having them do a survey that my principal told me I had to do that I forgot about. Like anything I want, that's my time I can pick.
Right, exactly. It's really kind of whatever, I mean, we were both the same. It was like whatever we needed. I am appreciating though, I'm like reading some of the comments, like someone said starting the class with like a book it review, just like those first 5 minutes gives you an opportunity to kind of get settled. I was terrible, absolutely terrible at taking attendance. Shout out to all the teachers who get yelled at for not taking attendance. You're my people.
Every single day I should have been fired. I just want to be clear, and I'm aware of it, and it's okay.
Right. Absolutely. But, or if you want to start with something light, like you said, kind of a, like more of a classroom culture, I think you kind of decide what you want those initial minutes to look like because they go super fast. But I think also whatever you're going to do, whether it's something light, whether it's something more structured and content driven, you have to make sure that you are setting the rest of the class up for success. So I think that's where you and I were the same. If we felt like there was a common mistake students made, then we would address it in a mini lesson. sometimes it was behaviors. It was like,
Oh,
okay, I'm sick of putting all the comfy chairs back at the end of the day, guys. How should we be putting these comfy chairs back? Or, little things like that. So just whatever it is, like make sure it's intentional.
so we're going to give you some time to process these first 5 minutes. We do have a morning challenge officially for you that doesn't have to do with your coffee order coming up here in a minute. But before we get into that, let's process a bit and dive into a community spotlight. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. We are live for our Wednesday Wake Up with the Teach Better team, where we love to kick off midweek, welcome you into your Wednesday, and also get you set for success as you persevere through the rest of your week ahead, working with students, having an incredible impact. I know this is silly, but thank you for what you do. I feel like sometimes in the middle of the week, we just need to hear that we're appreciated. And while I know there are so many people in your life that appreciate you. I know Katie and I, the entire Teach Better team, appreciates what you do. Katie, one of my favorite things as we are live is to highlight educators. And I know we're transitioning here into our community spotlight, but I do want to give a shout out to the educators that see us streaming live, but then choose to text us instead of comment on the videos. I love, we have our comments literally rolling with people watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn with their different thoughts or ideas. And yet I have 2 or 3 different people texting me with their thoughts too. So shout out one specifically, someone we all love and adore, Michael Jennings, who is a featured speaker at our Teach Better Conference 2022. I personally know that enough people are not following him and learning from him. He's one of the most incredible educators I ever worked with. And he's texting this morning saying that our conversation is really funny, and he wants to put a vote in for black coffee from earlier this morning. So
cheers, Jennings. I appreciate that.
If there is anyone you need to hunt down at the Teach Better conference for a selfie, or I don't know how to say this without shooting the shit, you know what I mean? Goofing off with, it's Mike Jennings. It's
for sure.
Even
because you're gonna walk away with a few extra laughs, but then also way smarter than you were when you walked up, and it's gonna be like a conversation about fun stuff, and you're gonna be like, dang, he's full of really good insight.
So I don't know what he's going to wear at the conference. Obviously, he hasn't checked his outfit with me as he's traveling from, where does he live? Idaho to come to the conference. But just so you all know, he's probably not going to be wearing shoes walking around. That will be Michael Jennings. If you see anybody that you just have never maybe seen before, if you don't follow him on social media, you need to go do that now. But he's a featured speaker at our Teach Better conference. He'll probably be barefoot walking around, and he's the guy you want to talk to for sure.
For sure. For sure. All right, let's get into highlighting somebody else. Somebody on our team.
So good. So good. We are highlighting this morning the one and only Amanda. Amanda is a member of our Teach Better team, but she started out being a member of our Teach Better community. She was a member of our ambassador community when that launched as well. And right now, her official Teach Better team title is that she is our community relationships manager. In her spare time of all the work she stinking does with us, she's also a full-time second grade teacher, just rocking it out. There's her Twitter handle to make sure you go follow her. When we asked her what she loves about education and the work she does, she says every child is capable of amazing things if we help them discover their passion. I believe success comes from fostering confidence, independence, ownership, and excitement for learning. So massive, massive shout out there to Amanda and all the incredible work she has done on the team. Katie, Amanda has been a part of our Teach Better community forever. She's somebody who attended 2019 Teach Better conference. She obviously is going to be there at 2022. But talk about a loving, passionate Ohio second grade teacher. So good.
Yeah, I'm really excited to. I don't know that I've maybe met her in person once a long time ago, but I'm excited to actually spend some quality time with her at the conference. So
I will say I need to find my new Amanda. I'm just going to say it that way. because Amanda at 2019 was an educator that Chad Orszowski just raved about because Chad always got to be in her classroom. So I literally just heard about this mystical Amanda all the time. And then when we were at the Teach Better conference, I officially got to meet her. Felt like I was meeting a celebrity because like Jeff and Chad were so obsessed with her. But I always needed like somebody that I met at the conference that didn't know anybody else. I wanted to like always introduce them to the next person. So all I did, I feel like at the Teach Better conference when I met a new face was go and introduce them to Amanda and Maggie, who she was with, because they were like safe people to like then transition to like meeting a new face at the conference. So I need the next Teach Better equivalent. Who in the comments wants to be my go-to at the conference where when I meet a new friend, I go and introduce them to you? It's just like, it's going to be such a fun opportunity for people to be social.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Amanda's
I love
wonderful.
Amanda.
Love Amanda. I know it sounds silly and I know we need to transition here, but breaking down Amanda's role, Amanda literally gets a pot of money is essentially how she operates in her job. And she's the one that sends all the postcards, all the gifts, anything you ever get in the mail from the Teach Better team funnels through Amanda's department. And I personally think that would be like the death of me having to buy gifts for people. But I think that other people would love that job of just being a gift purchaser, right?
Well, and that's the thing. She's so good at it. Like,
So good at it.
Yeah, like you get something and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like super personalized. And it's like, Amanda, she's like a fairy godmother. She just is like, ding.
That is
And like on the team, if we have children or spouses or, she sends postcards to all of them for their birthdays. I know I have 2 little girls in the house who love getting their Teach Better postcard. So Amanda is like the bringer of all the joy.
Yes, she is. Or if we have somebody that we're talking to that's like on the show as a guest and we want to send them like a pick me up, we literally go to Amanda. And I mean, I would love to say that I like brainstorm with her, but I don't because I'm a terrible gift giver. And she's just like, oh, you want to make someone feel special? I got it. And then weeks later, I get a text from that person saying, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. Thank you for thinking of me. And I'm like, thanks, Amanda. You figured that out.
And that's the thing. I don't think people realize she doesn't always get the thanks. She doesn't always get the praise. She doesn't even sometimes see that because, like you said, if you're having the conversation, we all know to reach out to Amanda and Amanda facilitates it. But often we're the ones getting the thank you versus Amanda. So shout out to Amanda for literally bringing all the things and all the positivity to our network because she's fairy godmother.
And I know it sounds lame because obviously, like, I am a part of the Teach Better team, but even when I get the Teach Better team postcard for my birthday, I'm like, hee hee, so fun.
And she's like really good at timing it. Like there have been, I've only been on the team for like 3 birthdays, I think. And every single one, the postcard has come on my birthday. And I'm like, does she just stand outside my house and like wait to put it in the mailbox? I mean, I live kind of far from her, but maybe.
No, all the way from Ohio. She drives all the way to Normal so that she can deliver your postcard. Yeah, so sweet.
Yeah, that's not creepy.
Anyway, Amanda will also be at the conference. So when you need a friendly face, or if you just want to say thank you for maybe a postcard you received or a little gift that you've received from the team, she's definitely in need for some like love and appreciation. So so good. And Erin, I totally agree. Erin in the comments is saying that she needs someone in her life because she's like not a good gift giver. I'm the same way. It's not because I don't love people. I just don't know how to.
I agree.
I don't know. No, you are so good at gift giving. I don't even want to hear it.
I don't know. It stresses me out though. Like Amanda, I just imagine it's like easy for her. It's not necessarily easy for me. I don't know.
She enjoys it. Yeah. Well, so when you're doing your Christmas shopping this year, if you need somebody else to do it, call Amanda.
Exactly. That's the takeaway. Ray, I've been hearing you mention this challenge. I've heard it a few times, and I think we need to hear it.
We'll be right back. Hey everyone, good morning. We are live for our Wednesday wake up and we're in our last segment here for our morning challenge as you get into your Wednesday. Morning challenges, I think, are important. We've had a lot of conversation. There's been a lot of different things you could take away. But a part of our Wednesday wake up is we want to make sure you feel centered and grounded for a successful second half of your week. And sometimes keeping something at the forefront of your mind as something to kind of keep an eye on can be a helpful way to really focus our busy brains. So, Katie, as we think about our morning challenge, we did have a coffee morning challenge earlier, which is like, or maybe we didn't actually say it. There was a lot of transition. I think everyone should go get a coffee this week. Like, I think you should treat yourself. If you're struggling financially to do that, DM me and I will figure out a way to get you a coffee this week, like truly. So send me a message if you don't have a way to treat yourself with a morning coffee, either this morning or Thursday or Friday. This is a week to treat yourself. I'm giving you permission. So I think that's a good first one to start out with. Katie, will you treat yourself either today or tomorrow with a coffee?
Absolutely. You don't have to tell me twice. I might do it both days. Honestly, I really want to be a go-getter and just achieve this challenge. So
I love it. And Katie, I know that like you know where you're going to go get a coffee, you know your order, but I'm only going to pay for one coffee for you. So if you direct message me, Katie, I'm not sending you 2 coffees, just to confirm.
I will buy my coffee today and tomorrow, and then I'll need financial help on Friday, probably. Just kidding.
You know what? I think I'm seeing you Friday, so I will take care of you on Friday. No problem.
Yes.
For everyone else, another challenge may be more appropriate, but seriously, I think the coffee one's really, really important, is we had a big conversation about our first 5 minutes of the classroom. This was focused on tone and creating routines and personalizing it for your personal teaching style. I would love for each one of you to just consider the tone you want to set within the first 5 minutes of your class hour. And that can be something that might change and evolve throughout the day. Maybe there's a different tone you want to set in the morning than in the afternoon. But a mental check, a gut check, not only today, but as you go into your week, of thinking about that tone and how you can bring that to be more prominent in your classroom this week, I think is a really tangible way for us to take some action to be better.
I agree. I like it.
So those are 2 morning challenges. I don't think we need 3. I think 2 is plenty.
Yeah, especially because I feel like one is, actually they both kind of can start something good. Like think about if you get a morning coffee and then you like have the first 5 minutes set up for success. I think you're going to have a great rest of your week. And it's Wednesday. You've made it halfway. So we've just got a couple more days. I'm feeling really good about the rest of this week.
So good. As you continue throughout the rest of the week, there are a few things that are wrapping up for Teach Better. If you are an ambassador in our exclusive ambassador program, I'm giving you a heads up that you have a very big surprise coming at the end of the week. So make sure to pay attention to those emails, those lives that might be exclusive in your private Facebook group for the ambassadors, kind of all that jazz. So putting that out there into the world. If you are part of our general Teach Better community, we would love to give you kind of a shout out to keep your eyes out for our Teach Better Conference speaker spotlights. Those are wrapping up this week. I actually have one here in just a few hours again to feature an educator I cannot wait to meet. So if you can't catch it live, make sure that you catch it after the fact. All of our videos are always safe for all of you to see. And we are in our final weeks for you to buy those last tickets of the Teach Better Conference. And then we are closing the whole registration. I'm sorry, we won't be able to give out any more because we have a massive event to celebrate with all of our incredible Teach Better community members. So we are in the last few moments here.
And in the last few weeks before we all get to party together.
It'd be so good. We also, just as a reminder, in addition to our Wednesday show, have a Sunday show that we'd love you all to tune in for. It's a great way for you to kind of set up, apparently with my dog popping into the screen, for you to set up success for the following week. So if you haven't chosen to pop into our Sunday weekly warm-up, that could be a good opportunity for you to get to know different faces in our community and also hang out with Brad Hughes. So I kind of love it.
I love it.
All right. We are headed into a fun day ahead. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you on the other side.